Welcome in, Mountaineer Nation. I'm Sam the Man, and this is another episode of the Mountaineer Effect. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We're over 600 subscribers, so we're fixing to plan some giveaways in the coming future. Today, guys, we're going to welcome in my Oklahoma connection, Cody. He's here to tell us about all the tumultuous time that's been going on out in Norman, Oklahoma with hiring and firing and leaving and then all that good stuff. So welcome in, Cody. What do you got to say to the good people of the Mountaineer Effect?
Well, first and foremost, thanks for tuning in. I know this is normally a West Virginia fan-based channel, but it seems like the OU videos have gotten a decent amount of interaction, so I'm glad people are enjoying it. I'm going to start this off, oddly enough, with a thank you to Lincoln Riley. And I know you're probably thinking to yourself, what the hell? Why? Well, I'm just glad that he left, man, because this was the best thing that could have ever happened to this program. So, honestly, him leaving gave Oklahoma the edge that it's been missing for his entire tenure, that we truly haven't felt since Bob. And so, on Twitter, everybody likes to call him Tebow. The bitch out west is what people do it.
T-Bow.
So, today, we obviously had the press conference, and our president said we're continuing the trend of the coaches with the B's. And it was basically saying, you know, like you had like the greats like Barry and Bob, and then you had Bitch Boy, and now you have Brent. Is what?
That's funny. Well, I know, you know, watching Lincoln Riley do what he did, I mean, like, you know, we talked about, like, I mean, to me, that was a total Rich Rod move. Like, it was very classless, and it happened. It's over. We're past it. The big thing was, who do you replace him with? And myself, I have to give him an A+ on who they replace him with. What is the overall consensus of the Sooner fans that you know and the interactions you've had with people in Norman?
I have not seen one person upset. Everybody, because I know the last time I was on here, we talked a little bit about who you asked me who I would like, and I said Venables was my number one target that I wanted. So that was kind of the general consensus around the state of Oklahoma and the fan base, is we all wanted Venables. And yesterday, I actually went to the airport where he landed, and there were a lot of people, man. Like, I don't know if it was 1,000 people, but there were hundreds at least of people waiting for him to land, and we all cheered him and gave him a standing O. There was fireworks here for some reason. We had a live DJ, and then he was playing all the game day songs and stuff, and he was doing trivia, and then eventually Venables himself joined in and started asking OU fans trivia.
Wow. I mean, that's good. You know, it's good that a coach comes in like that and makes such a good initial impression. I mean, you know, embracing the fan base is a big part of the job, and he has all the reason in the world to do that. But it means so much more when they've been there and left and then come back home, essentially. I think it's a really good hire. I think I really think it's going to be good for OU moving forward as they move into the SEC. I think he's going to be a better fit for them for that than Lincoln Riley ever was or ever could have been.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Earlier, that's one of the things he touched on in his press conference was he made it a point to say that you guys wanted to make sure you had an SEC, a good coach to lead you through the SEC. You got your guy, is what he said. And everybody's so excited, man. Like, it seems like the Oklahoma football that everybody knows and loves is back. And he made a point to talk about how the offense is still going to be good. And then he brought up the fact that they're going to have a smash mouth defense again. So,
well, I think now, has he announced his OC yet? Have they hired an offensive coordinator yet, or is that still
not? It's technically still in the works, so not officially, but I'm assuming it's Levy because Sports Illustrated posted about it. And I mean, granted, there were people that were posting Sports Illustrated articles saying that Dan Lanning was going to be our coach, and there was like all kinds of different stuff, which the only reason why that alarmed a lot of people was it seemed like we were dragging our feet along a little bit for someone that obviously wasn't in the conference championship weekend.
Now, are you talking about Jeff Lebby out of Ole Miss?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then I
just wanted to make sure.
I did hear it did get confirmed that apparently we were talking to Fickle, but he had kind of a change of heart, which thank God, honestly. Like, no offense, what he's doing with Cincinnati is great, but I wanted a Power 5 coach. I didn't want to promote someone. That's what we did with Lincoln, essentially. I mean, he went from being a coach at ECU, I think, and then went and was the OC and then got promoted. So I'm not a fan of that. I'm glad. Like I said, no offense to Fickle. I think what he's doing with Cincinnati is phenomenal, but I don't think he would have been the guy for the program for SEC football.
And I do agree with that. I think him moving from the AAC to the Big 12 is about as big a jump as he needs to take on right now. I think I'm glad he's sticking with Cincinnati. I'm glad Notre Dame went a different direction. And I'm glad that you guys got, you got the guy that you talked about. And I really think, defensively, if you go into the SEC and you have some growing pains, a stout defense is going to keep you in all of those games. And like, I just think it's a better setup for success. Lincoln's going to score points, but on that defensive side of the ball, the SEC, is known for some stout defense. You got to have a really stout defense. And this is the guy that can get you there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think, and that's the main thing is like all of us fans, we had a list of people we wanted. There was like 12 different names that have been just popping up left and right. It was something new every day, but the first one was Venables. And I said that I told you that's who I thought that Joe C gave the first call to was Venables when this happened. And then he said he had a list of people that he was going to call. And apparently Venables was the first person that he had in mind.
Well, that's good. I mean, Oklahoma has such a steep tradition, football tradition, I'm big on, I don't want to see any team fail. I don't want to see any team lose their coach and fall apart. I mean, and it does happen. It does happen. It happens even at big schools. And I don't like to see that happen. I really think this coaching carousel thing, they need to work it out to where it doesn't happen until after bowl games. Whether it's removing the early signing period or whatever they have to do. I think they need to make coaches accountable for the seasons that they have. And, Lincoln, unfortunately, isn't going to have that accountability because I think there was some skeezy shit going on behind the scenes, and we'll never really know for sure now.
Yeah, and that's the big thing going on right now is there's some really ridiculous rumors that people are making up just because they were pissed at Lincoln Riley. As for what all is going on, there's a lot of potential recruiting violations that Lincoln might be getting served with. So I know OU Compliance tweeted out eyeball emojis, and usually OU fans, we don't like compliance because we had the Joe Mixon thing, and there's always something going on. So it was nice to kind of see them be like, oh, now you guys can cheer us.
Let's talk a little bit about Bob Stoops and the role he's played in kind of this mini transition. I know he was going to, willing to step up into the bowl game and coach for that. Is he still going to have some hand in coaching in the bowl game?
Yeah, he's still, to my knowledge, he's the head coach for it. We're going to play Oregon. I'm pretty sure he's going to be pretty motivated for that. But to my understanding, he's happy. He said he's happy that we got our head coach because he didn't want to go out recruiting anymore. And so it seems like Venables is taking care of recruiting right now, and Bob's just doing the coaching. And then Venables has already met with the team. He said he's talked to a lot of the players. Said he specifically talked to Caleb and his family, and he's trying to just get those barriers established. And so truthfully, I like the direction the program's going. I've said it multiple times. I liked Lincoln for his offensive mind, and that's about where it ended. And Venables is going to restore some dignity to the program of football. I'm hoping we'll have discipline and defense again as a regular thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I think really, Lincoln is going to fit in perfect at USC. I think that's really a match made in heaven because with some of the things that is coming out about recruiting violations and all that stuff. Southern California don't care about any of that. So, I mean, that's the man you hired, and that's what you're going to get, and that's what you've had in the past and been successful with. So, more power to you.
Supposedly, USC fans are already upset because they said they would have. Message boards and stuff. I saw a tweet about it. I don't know how accurate it is, but they were saying that USC's message boards were something else, saying, "Damn, I wish we would have had Venables instead of Lincoln." Now it's like, well, you reap what you sow. You were poaching during the season. You got your man, so it is what it is.
Well, and when you really look at it, the move that was made was they poached an offensive guru and you replaced him with a defensive guru. And the trends in the Pac-12 are more offensive based. The trends in the Big 12 even and the SEC are big defense. So, I mean, really, you didn't take a step back. You took a step up, especially moving into the SEC. I mean, the defense is what's going to win you ball games, essentially. I mean, in the SEC. So, I mean, it's a win-win. I wasn't sure how it was going to work out for you guys, but I mean, I don't think there's a better hire out there than the one you got.
No, I don't think there is either. I think the OC is the thing that a lot of people are worrying about. And with Joe Brady getting fired, the big rumors are him and Levy. But I think it's safe to say that Brady's probably going to go back to LSU and look at, just essentially picking up where he left off. And for us, like Levy makes sense. He has Oklahoma ties. But I think that's the big thing is it was just a relief to finally know officially that we had our head coach and that it was who we all wanted. I mean, you could not have asked for a better press conference than what we got today from him. He said every single thing that you would want to hear a coach say. He took accountability. He was prideful in what Oklahoma has built. And he said the big thing to me and a lot of other fans is him talking about how 10 plus years with us. That Lincoln never really said anything long term, and that's the difference between the two. It's kind of like my mom brought it up because with Sam Pittman, he just loves Arkansas football. That's the only place he ever wanted to be. And that's kind of how Venables is, man. He turned down a head coaching job at Auburn last year. He said that something didn't feel right about it. And then he like literally as soon as he stepped off of the plane, gave a speech to everybody and talked about how this is where his kids were born. And this is like always kind of been home to him no matter what. And that God brought him back here and all kinds of just a really good dude, man. I'm glad to have someone that legitimately cares about the program and is actual good human being.
Well, and that's something that I've been, you watch the podcast. I've been saying about Neil Brown, like he's a good dude. Like, Dana Holgerson is not the best dude in the world. So, I mean, when you have a coach that you can get behind and they're a good person, like it makes you endear yourself to the program even more and what they're trying to do even more. Like it's an extra hook. And like, that's the hook that means the most because, their intentions are good. And I think maybe that was a disconnect between the OU fans and maybe Lincoln Riley was you never felt that love from him.
I agree, man. I think Lincoln, it always there was that lurk that maybe the reason we all got comfortable about not worrying about him leaving was because we thought he was thinking towards the NFL and why would he turn down a Cowboys job and stay in college, but ultimately I think OU was just a stepping stone for him to go wherever the hell he wanted to go. And I think he saw USC as a comfortable spot. And it's perfect for someone like him that has no defense at all and can just throw the ball as much as he wants. And, and whoever goes there, I mean, like all the decommits and stuff we had, like I'm sure they'll fit in great at USC. It's just there's a different standard there for sure.
Well, and it's a big difference. That's what I couldn't understand is some of the decommits, choosing to play under a coach is one thing, but moving from Oklahoma to Southern California, that's all. I guarantee you a year from now, we'll be talking about how many of those recommits to Southern California are now in the transfer portal. I guarantee it because choosing to go to Oklahoma and then changing your mind to go play for a coach at Southern California, That's a huge change. That's like just culturally and the way it all is that's a huge change. And I just think some of those kids may not be a favorable change for them.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think there's always been a family aspect to the University of Oklahoma, and I think that's something that means a lot to a lot of people. And I've seen quite a few recruits say, "I came to Oklahoma not to go play for Lincoln." So
Yeah.
it's nice to see those kids, man, the ones that are choosing to stay and making it known that they want to stay. They're gonna be heroes here essentially because Oklahoma is a football state at heart, and if there's one thing that if there's anybody that's loyal, it's an Oklahoma fan because Oklahomans will follow. There's a thing called the Oklahoma versus the world mentality. I know there's like Detroit versus the world and like everybody, but like there is a little bit of truth to it. I always kind of thought it was corny until I sat back and understood, like it always has kind of felt that way, at least with OU.
Well, the Big 12 always get the shaft. They always have. They always do. There's so much SEC love out there, and if you know me, I say the SEC love is deserved. I do, but I mean, that's like West Virginia's bowl game having to go all the way to Arizona to play Minnesota. I mean, it's just they put us in a position where the fans can't even travel to go watch the bowl game, and like that's part of it. It's like getting poked with a stick. Like it seems like the people that determine the bowl games and all of that, they like poking the Big 12 with a stick. They love it. I think they absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, and that even goes for the regular season, man. Like OU was just not getting respect even when they were ranked. They had two lost teams that were out here above an undefeated OU. Like why? And some of them they tried to do were against wins against unranked teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it more this year, than most years. But I mean, every year there's something, these. I mean, not only, and I'm gonna go back to the West Virginia ball game for a minute, but not only is it in Arizona, but it's a 9:15 kickoff, which is 10:15 here on like a Tuesday night. So to watch the bowl game, I'm gonna have to stay up till 10:15 just for the kickoff, knowing having to work the next day just to even watch the game. So it is what it is, and I guarantee y'all are in the same boat. What bowl game did you guys get? Who do you play, and when is it?
We got it's OU versus Oregon in the Alamo Bowl, and it's December 29th, and conveniently enough, it's 8:15 at night.
See, that's what I'm saying. Do you know where that's played at right off the top of your head?
San Antonio.
Well, I mean, at least it gives the fans an opportunity to go, but still, that late of a game, it's hard for you to travel all the way down. That I know for you, that's a long drive to go into San Antonio.
Yeah. I mean, I live in Moore, and which is only like 10 minutes away from Norman. So a lot of these kids that go to OU, if they're trying to go to the game, they got a good like 6-7 hour drive to get there. And I mean, if you did that all in one, even if you drove up that day, that's still exhausting because by the time you've gotten there to the venue, you're going to be so damn tired from all the driving you were doing and sitting in the car for 7 hours that you don't really want to sit for another 2 hours plus at a game.
So today, Brent Venables had his first OU presser, right?
Yeah.
And what did he say during that press conference? Was there anything that he said that made you be like, oh, hell yeah, this is our guy. This is the guy.
Oh yeah, man. The big quote to me was him talking about, he said, you guys want someone to take you to the journey through the SEC. Well, you got your guy. And everybody at that press conference, thousands of people went bananas, dude. It was insane to watch. And then the other one was him talking about the OU program as a whole. And he was basically saying, we're going to keep our high-flying offensive thing, but we're bringing back that smash-mouth, gritty defense that, people used to associate Oklahoma with. Because there was a time where there weren't many jokes about Oklahoma not having a defense.
I mean, that's good. I mean, that's what you expect out of him. And that's, it's good to hear it. I mean, that's the thing, coaches, especially good coaches, have a way of reassuring the fan base and making you buy into what they're doing. And I mean, what he's selling is what everybody wants. They want smash mouth defense and they want to compete against the best of the best. And I mean, to lead you into the SEC, I really don't think there's anybody else that could do it as well as he will.
No, I mean, honestly, how many times have we watched Bama and Clemson play each other? He was the defensive coordinator every single game in the college football playoffs. So if he knows how to shut down some of those Bama offenses, I'm pretty sure he won't have a problem with them or anybody else in the SEC. So I think if there's a guy to usher us in, it's definitely him, man.
Well, I'm sure Clemson's not happy that he left, as you can understand that. But he's impossible to replace. So I think I'm glad you came on. I'm glad we got to talk about it. I think shedding some light on it for everybody kind of understands where the OU fans are coming from with this hire and how you get through losing a coach like Lincoln Riley. And prior to him leaving, the opinions were high on him as far as his abilities. But when that personality comes out, and the way it did, it's the truth. Like, you saw the real face of Lincoln Riley. That's who people show you who they really are. And he showed you who he really was. And sometimes that's the best thing that can happen, is to find out who a person really is. Because now you're away from it and on the greener pastures.
Right. And you can tell that Venables was homesick. He literally, they asked him what the first thing he did in Norman was, and he laughed and said, well, me and my family, we all went to Whataburger. We didn't have that in Clemson.
Now that's funny. But I'm Sam the Man, and this is CP, my Oklahoma Connections, talking about Oklahoma's new hire. It seems to me like the fan base is happy. You moved on. You moved up. Something that a few weeks ago we wouldn't think would be possible. And I think, Oklahoma's set up for success now, in my eyes, to move on to the SEC. So I appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit about it with us. And, it's interesting to see how these different schools handle the changing of the guard. And I think Oklahoma probably handles it about as good as you can. So
I think it's safe to say we won the breakup.
You did win the breakup. You got the dog. But anyway, I'm Sam the Man. This is CP. This is the Mountaineer Effect. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go, Mountaineers.
Boomer sooner.
T-bow.
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 T-bow. T-bow. T-bow.
T-bow.
The bitch
out west. That's funny. Suck it, Lincoln.